the day one players, is Trump the only Warlock? I think he is. And definitely didn't have too bad of a round with the Warlock. I mean, he just went in Warrior and just crushed him. It was pretty easy. He is bringing the Shaman. He is bringing the Druid. Feels like Trump is just bringing the standard solid decks, but from what we've seen in the limited amount of Warlock games, it seems like the other players may have missed on the opportunity to bring the strong deck to the tournament. Thijs is bringing the Warrior, the poorest results of the tournament so far, but he is the one player to win with the deck, I'm pretty sure. Has anyone else won with the deck?
At least on stream, and Eloise mentioned to me that she went 0-3 with the Warrior as well in the lower brackets. So
oh wow, so the Warrior's like
grand
1
total
in 12?
of 1 in 10.
Is it 10?
Yeah. So she lost 6 times with it.
Okay.
Saw Kibler lose twice with it, and we saw Thijs lost twice with it, didn't he? Or did he lose once? Maybe 1 in 9.
It's bad. It's bad. It's the It might be 10% win rate. It might be 12% win rate, but that win rate is not what you'd expect when you bring a deck to a tournament. Yep. Here we see the Warlock deck once again. It is against the Druid. I feel like the Warlock deck is actually pretty strong against the Druid. I feel like the Druid really struggles to keep up with a lot of decks, and the fact that it doesn't have access to Shredder is probably one of the biggest problems with this matchup, which was already kind of a problem to begin with.
Yeah, it's a pretty good point. You know, actually, here's a fun fact, and I just got mentioned to this by some of the admins. Trump is actually the only player to bring Warlock in the tournament, and that surprises me because I thought Warlock would still actually be very well represented. It's one of the most adaptable classes to big shifts in card pools because of their hero power is so flexible. But Trump's the only person in the entire group of 16 players. Does that surprise you, Krip?
And that does surprise me. I thought Handlock would be acceptable, and I thought that Zulak would be pretty decent. And so far we've seen, well, Zulak be pretty decent at least.
Yeah, I mean, it does lose some really big cards, you know. The Nerubi Egg with some power overwhelming plays gave it a lot of ability to be good on the board. Even Haunted Creeper to an extent. Implosion.
Yeah. There's a lot of unfair cards that Zulak lost, but I think it's still got plenty left.
Sure thing. One thing also to note too is that Trump for a while was a big fan of the Void Caller Demon Zoo for a while, but you even lose that because you can't play Void Caller into stuff. You lose Mal'Ganis as well. I wonder how good this is though, because traditionally the Warlock was very good against the Druid, so it's just very powerful tool that you have as the Druid, as the Warlock player, to be able to seize tempo commandingly against the Druid, and you build up reasonable sized boards that they can't fight back against you easily. But without some of those tools, maybe it becomes a much more fair matchup for the Druid.
It'll be pretty tough for the Druid to win overall, but the Druid is always capable of very unfair plays, as we've seen so far. Now, if you had to bring just I mean, we've thought about this. We've all thought about what decks we can see ourselves playing in the future. I'm kind of curious, what would you bring to a tournament like this, Frodan?
Well, I actually was of the belief that aggro was super good, so I was gonna try to bring like Base Hunter, aggro Paladin, aggro Shaman. Because I want to take advantage of just the fact that people don't have Belcher and Healbot. But now that I see that a significant amount of people have brought Dragon lineups, maybe I would have just gotten crushed by one of those people. I don't know, it's pretty hard to say, but that seems to be some of the thinkings, except maybe people include Druid into some of their lineups as well. So taking a look at the plays here, Trump's just going to Mortal Coil, pick up some of the draws. Flame Juggler, another interesting card here included, but it kind of makes sense. You just want those small little board advantages for Zoo, so it doesn't seem like too bad of a choice here by Trump.
He ended up mulliganing it out, and it would have been very good against the Living Roots that was played on turn 1. But still, it's fine. I would have liked to see the Dark Peddler instead of the Juggler last turn, because any big minion that's played here will have to be answered by the minion played on the prior turn. So I think delaying the Juggler one turn while it pushes for less like damage, I think is going to be a better 2-turn board pressure play.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too, because the board pressure is ultimately what snowballs things. That's what gives Druid the ability to Savage Roar and maybe even win back the board. That's what gives Zoo the entire ability to close out games behind Doomguard.
Well, there could be a merciless onslaught of juggles.
Yeah,
it could be
right.
flame juggler. That's 2, and peddler's 1, and then coin out a 1-drop for another 1. And that 1-drop could be a boar for 2.
A Stone Tusk Boar, right? Another reappearance.
That's a good start. Soulfire.
Not bad.
Okay.
It's getting hot in here.
Let's go. Another ping. Oh.
Oh, is he gonna
try
for it? I think he's gonna try for it, and he's going face no matter what. And you can't give up. There's no way you give him 5 damage here. Nope.
Oh. Well, there's no swipe.
Yet. No swipe.
I mean, you're right. Usually when you're like, there's not this card, it ends up falling exactly the following turn.
I think Wild Growth is actually a decent play here. The Druid of the Claw just trades the board, so you don't actually start winning, and you could get completely destroyed by Power of Whelm. While if you do Wild Growth and Hero Power, you get rid of 2 damage on the board, but you can Ancient of War next turn, which is a really big deal. So I feel it's about as good of a tempo play, and whenever you have about as good of a tempo play and it involves Wild Growth, it's probably the time to make it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good point. Druid of the Claw seems like it's a very easy way for you to fall super far behind. Power Overwhelming just gives you so much more mana to play with. And of course, we know in Trump's hand, it would completely blow Druid into like a really awkward spot here.
Yeah.
So I agree. And you know what? I mean, Thijs recognizes it too. This is like a hard call to make, because the very obvious play is like, well, I guess I just trade and play Druid of the Claw, right? But this is definitely like a more difficult thing to evaluate, when you stop and think about it as opposed to autopilot. But man, talk about having an intense board here. It's going to be a 9 power loaded up.
Yeah, it's so hard for the Druid to deal with this. The Druid just has to start winning and never give up the lead. And that comes usually from Innervate and your opponent drawing badly. So neither of those things happen, and no surprise, Trump is ridiculously far ahead this game.
If he has Owl, I believe that's lethal. But, oh no, he wouldn't have... Yeah, actually he would have enough. So, but he doesn't have it, so he's going to try to evaluate if he just wants to get through this.
Kind of like the Peddler over the Dark Iron.
So many possibilities.
You can do Peddler, Power of Whelm on a 2-attack guy, play the 1-drop that you get from Peddler, Soulfire, discarding the Dark Iron, then you tap.
Yeah. You might even get another Power of Whelm to just directly pick up a really easy trade there. I don't mind.
I mean, the Warlock being at 29 is so huge as well. It basically means that the Warlock can tap as much as he wants for the entire rest of the game.
Would you, pick Corruption if you had the chance? Because we can't see the Discover, but that'd be pretty funny if you just, don't have much of a better option, so you just play Corruption and just play Dark Iron Dwarf and just, pass.
I don't know about that. I think yeah. Yeah, maybe,
I mean, Flame is still a great choice, but just one of those hypothetical situations.
Yeah.
I like pressing here. Druid just doesn't have a way to fight back. Mind Control Tech and Druid of the Claw is the way here.
That is pretty good. He's not dead, and then he has a combo next turn, try to clear. But I feel it's still too slow.
Yeah, it's definitely a scenario where I think you're just barely alive, but you can just get Doomguard off the top here.
Oh, there's a wide range of cards that can be drawn here. In the current state of the board, Trump is 4 damage short. So any Silence, Power Overwhelm, Soulfire, a few cards from oh no, he's already played both Peddlers. Doomguards, of course. It could just be a double buff. It could just be Abusive and Dark Iron. Oh, that's not going to do it.
It's not it. That's damage the other way. He needs just a little bit more juice. Archon Squire.
Ooh, doesn't get it. Now, here's what I'm really curious about. Like, how do you want to trade this? Okay. Yeah, I feel like the Voidwalker is really good at shutting down Force of Nature clear.
Yeah, it just takes one Treant. And, I mean, you're still alive if you Force of Nature clear, I believe. Just barely, though.
Yeah.
You're at 1 HP?
You're at 1. Against the Warlock.
Is it better to Druid the Claw and to heal yourself? Do you gain as much life that way?
No, you want to taunt up once you don't have any health left. You want to use your health as a resource once you still have it.
Mm-hmm. That's a very rare resource right now. You only have 4 bits left.
Still, it's there. Not going anywhere. Actually, it is going somewhere. It's going somewhere pretty quick, actually.
It's like, if you're at 1 HP, he has 2 taps to do it. Alright, Thijs ends up going for the safest possible play, and maybe he feels like he has an opportunity to turn it around.
Whoa.
That's not helpful, and...
No, but that would have been enough if Thijs made the other play.
6, 10, 12, and right now he's at 13 health. Just barely not enough.
But it also doesn't really clear much of Trump's board because the Divine Shield and then the Pump. He only loses 1 minion in that exchange.
I was thinking about double combo. Force of Nature, like Innervate draw here, Krip.
Oh.
Innervate? No.
Wow. Yeah, I think Innervate may have been lethal.
But the thing is, he couldn't use his own face, so he loses a little bit of damage, but I think that would have been it.
He'd lose 6 and 6, so he'd have 6 from the last tree, 7 from the guy. Yeah, he'd have 17 face.
Yeah.
It would have been lethal. Innervate would have been a lethal draw there.
Oh, man. Is there any opportunity for him to draw something from Ancient of Lore to bring him back? Not unless it's like mind... No, not even Mind Control Tech would save him.
Would it not?
What?
If he steals a 3/4...
What about
then...
Innervate Mind Control Tech?
Yeah.
Still think no, but...
He's gonna try.
Oh, Innervate was the next card!
There's 1 card off! Thijs realized, he's like, I had the chance! The dream was 1 card away!
Wow. And that was only possible because Trump played 3 consecutive Flame Imps.
Dude. I mean, the Flame Imps also contributed to him being within double combo range.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's so funny.
All right, well, Trump does take the first match in the exchange, and he remains the only Warlock player and the only undefeated Warlock player. Yeah, 2-0 for the Warlocks so far. His other two decks are still quite standard. Druid, that's going to do very well against honestly everything in the tournament. And then Shaman might struggle pretty hard. Thijs is actually in the winner's bracket on the back of denying Shaman a win with his Priest and then his Warrior, I believe. So Trump is really looking just to close out a win with the Shaman. That is going to be his biggest challenge.
All right, well, we'll see if he's able to do that. Thijs is going to switch gears here and go to his Dragon Warrior, a deck that's still had some, let's just say, unimpressive results for now, particularly against this class. Druid seems to be giving the Dragon Warrior fits, despite the fact that you are anticipating Druid in this format. This is like what you're expecting to be the most popular deck here.
Yeah. Well, from these hands, we see Innervate in one hand, and we see a pretty clunky hand on the Warrior side, so... I'm not feeling too great about this one.
Yeah, right now it just feels like you're so imprisoned by the dragon synergies, right? It's like if you're not holding a dragon, you don't get the benefit of it, but then you'd rather have slightly better early game options than just holding on to stuff. So in some ways you're imprisoned by your hand, and that's That's the lack of consistency on the dragon part that frustrates so many players.
Okay. What do you do here as the druid? I mean, if this was not against the warrior, you'd easily innervate out the raptor. You can protect it with a wrath, but you can't protect it from a fiery war axe. So.
Yeah, and it just so happened that the Mountain Raptor is really good against that kind of board, but Drake is still not bad here, right?
I'd like the wrath a bit more.
Okay.
I feel like Drake, you're just kind of getting a bit too ahead of yourself. You don't really have a great turn 3 play if things go wrong.
Okay. Oh, you mean if like they remove the Drake very efficiently?
Yeah.
Like slam execute or something?
Yeah. I think here you might
That's fair.
actually want to shield block. He's going to X.
Ooh. All right. So he really wants to start getting ahead of the curve of like removing minions, and it just so happens that if you wanted to play Mountain Raptor this turn, you would have lost it and then been able to develop something else instead. So heads up play from Thijs.
I think this might be a good time to Drake, and you can even coin out Living Roots if you want. The Mounted Raptor is going to get horribly punished. Looks like Trump will be able to counter with the Keeper, but that I feel it's like a slow reaction, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
He needs a really good one drop here for this to work, and that's not quite good enough in my opinion.
Yeah, you're looking for like Dust Devil.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely prefer the charging on Straza's champion than a 2/6 sub.
Yeah, not to mention you lose the Blackwing Corruptor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oasis Snapshot.
You're all. Yeah. Oasis Snapshot mode. The thing about the this too is that it kind of like forces Druid into a hero power. Assume they don't have a play into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mentioned though, that's going to be a Keeper of the Grove force because you don't want to innervate the Ancient of Lore just to lose tempo onto the board. Plus, it's turn 5, and you know what happens on turn 5 with dragon decks. You know that your opponent's holding a dragon because Alexstrasza's charge has gotten the activation. So just play very careful with making your opponent uncomfortable with their plays as well. Because right now, nothing's clean. Again, for health, it seems to be that really annoying sticky point for this Dragon Warrior deck.
For all warriors from this point forward in Standard.
Yeah. Every single time.
These Farseers may have been the difference in Thijs' warrior deck, though. I think maybe we saw one other warrior deck with a Farseer, but in general, I think they've been absent.
I wield the power.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I think Kibler favored more like Hungry Dragons and Crushes, and then Eloise favored more like Draconoid Crushers and Brawl. So it seems like there's just different ideas taken up by their own individual practices that really gave them the idea that this was good. And I think, again, like I think Farseer does tend to lean towards being very reliable compared to some of the other stuff which can be pretty inconsistent. Hungry Dragon, for example, can give you something really good or really bad.
The Weaponsmith, decent spot for it. I mean, you're not going to do much better than that.
No, it's excellent, I think. You don't even have a weapon, so it's not like you have traffic with the weapons where you're jammed up by like King's Defenders or Fiery War Axe. I like it. And you have pretty strong board presence compared to your opponent.
Yeah. From Trump here, we'll have to see the Azure Drake. Not much play otherwise. Ooh, he would have loved to have that this turn.
Yeah, one card off from reducing not only Force of Nature Savage Word, but also Swipe, and that usually allows you to play everything at 10 mana, so would have been pretty bonkers.
You need to come up with 4 damage. You just run the Weaponsmith.
Yeah,
absolutely. That extra little bit. If everything does 3, you just add an extra 1 or 2.
And you know what? That Twilight Guardian's sitting on the bench, but he is the secret MVP for making this deck work right now.
Ooh, it's going to be hard to go through these Ancient of Wars, though. We have not seen Black Knight yet. Maybe on the second day, maybe tomorrow we will see some. Again, today we are seeing only half the field play. This is a 3-day tournament. 8 players showing their creations and their plays today, and tomorrow, same start time. We will have the remainder of the players, and maybe there's a few interesting bits that we haven't yet seen that's possible in this format. Yeah, I'm sure there are, but we'll see if it's brought to the table tomorrow.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. It seems as if the shield block here wouldn't guarantee anything significant. Man, Ancient of War just so beefy, man. How do you get past this efficiently?
Yeah,
you can't really do it. But
you could just load the board.
You could hypothetically shield block into like a dragon, and maybe the Twilight Guardian actually has an opportunity to introduce complicated board trades for your opponent as well. Whoa, he's going for the Twilight Guardian as well, so he can get more stats there.
Oh man, Oasis Guardian.
He already used both Alexstrasza's Charge and both Blackwing Corruptors. Outside of a Blackwing Technician, I don't think there's any more direct activators, right? So he could be thinking, okay, well, there's no point in doing that. I just lose a ton on this.
I feel like Swipe has to be the play, but it's kind of weak. Is there any reason to Wild Growth to 10?
Yeah, so if you play Emperor and Wild Growth, you have access to Force of Nature, Savage, or Swipe next on turn 10, or sorry, on 10 mana. So that gives you a range of 18 plus, let's say the Emperor survives, that would be 25 damage, which happens to be what your opponent is at if you just numbers up.
Okay.
Assuming everything goes right, though, there's a lot of ways to board.
Yeah. And HP.
Yeah. But
all right,
here's
well, that's
another
really
good
reasonable play. Yeah,
it's
can't kill the
very
first
good
one. Here's another one.
You couldn't execute the first one, so why not just load up the board more? And then I'm just gonna go for normal Force of Nature Savage Roar on this, right? No need to make it too complicated. Slam's pretty good. Gives him ways to spend his mana this turn. Slam into Execute would probably be the best draw here right now, because he can use the Cruel Taskmaster to help clean. Even Big Game Hunter would be pretty good if he had the mana to use it, though. Never mind. GG. Execute?
Nope. Another Oasis Guardian there.
I guess you want to play the Farseer here. Or I guess the Twilight Guardian number 2 is also possible as well, considering that it's slightly more beef on the board here, and it doesn't die to just one trade from the Ancient of War. The real scary thing again is your opponent's on 9 mana, and he has a lot of cards. And the moment he draws Emperor or drops Emperor, it's just going to be really scary, intimidating.
Is he going to drop Emperor though?
Yeah, I mean, he has 9 mana, so Druid the Claw and Sen'jin's also pretty good.
He could just combo to clear. I don't think I would, though.
It feels like that's still your primary win condition, especially if your opponent's playing taunts without the taunt effect.
Yeah, I think if you combo clear, the variant will probably seal out the game for the warrior.
Yeah, exactly. The Force of Nature Savage Roar is your win condition, especially as the game drags on and they're using more of their minions as tools that are normally taunts. Because eventually he's going to be drawing into the removal pieces for warrior, which means he won't have ways to put up taunts in front of the druid to combo.
Okay. Oh, he is going with Emperor.
Power of Ragnaros! It's got some really awesome things that's been reduced in cost, like Force of Nature Savage Roar Swipe we mentioned, but even like Druid the Claw being cheaper with the Sen'jin gives him more flexibility to do stuff. Not to mention Wild Growth gets cheaper for cycles, so all of them are pretty reasonable.
Well, he's got Ysera now, which enables the Twilight Guardian a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a bit optimistic, though.
So you're forced a cruel task to kill off the Ancient of War and then play the Twilight Guardian.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
That's really sad. Varian Rin can't do anything because it's 10 mana. You're literally locked into having him pull a charge minion, which you don't have. Oh
no,
Chilma for it.
Chilma could do it.
Oh, you're right, Chilma. If he has it, no,
nope.
Just a car.
No.
Nope. Oh, does that save him? No. He reduced swipe as well, so he's got a lot of damage. He's gonna try. Just in case, because he gets slightly above the Force of Nature Savage Roar range by trading into this, but...
Yeah, but armor... If you have no health, and then Armor Smith puts you at like 5 armor, you're still dead.
Yeah.
Fun fact. Yeah.
Alright, well that was pretty straightforward. Once again, Druid being the oppressive force we've expected it to be, but that's kind of why we always say that. You know, Druid is really strong, and we think not bringing it could end up costing people more than helping them. We'll see, though. It's a 2-0 lead for Trump, and the mayor of Valuetown is 1 game away from being able to advance the final day and getting in the money.
That's right. It's going to have to be on Shaman, though, and this is the deck that Thijs has punished pretty well. And I think with good luck, he's certainly able to turn this around completely. We've seen the Priest... kind of handle the Shaman very well. We've seen the Warrior handle the Shaman. That is the one time any Warrior won in this tournament. And yeah, Druid just handles everything. So it's not looking too bad matchup-wise for Thijs. So we'll see how the cards come down and if you can bring this back.
Name of the game will be just to build up the early board once more for the Shaman, get that early curve. Totem Golem, one of the best cards against Druid, just because nothing they have early game answers that 3/4 body. Not to mention it's a predator for things like Darnassus Aspirant. So that's something the Shaman will look for. Cards like Juggler are still very vulnerable to innervate plays or even the Living Roots, which is exactly what we see here. I'm really curious to see if Elemental Destruction is playing a role here, because sometimes that just happens to be exactly where all the Druid minions' health are at, and it gives you ability to stay alive. But, oh, not a good hand at all for the Shaman.
No. It's terrible.
My god.
Wolf Rider is pretty interesting. I feel like the Argent Horse Riders are so much better, but I mean...
No, I think he has
both. You can run both. Yeah, exactly.
I wonder if he runs the full Degenerate six-sum of 3 mana chargers, and you know what I'm talking about. Wolf Riders, Argent Horse Riders, and Arcane Golems. Full palette.
Well, speaking of Degenerate, we just saw one of the most disgusting openers Druid can have. Juggler. Oh, God. That's like a lamb. Look at that, dude.
Savage Roar? Oh, I really wanted Savage Roar off the top. That would be so good. That was 6 plus 6 minions. Oh, man. That would have been just so much damage.
There it is.
Oh, my God. He was 1 card off. And I think you do it next turn. Depends on what the cards are playing on the other end, but... like, that, your hand is dictating you to be pretty aggressive.
Yeah. Well, Swipe is going to just fit better on this board here. Yeah. The Swipe and the 2/3 Darnassus gives you a clear without losing a single minion, which just gives you a devastating swipe when it actually can matter.
Yep. I agree. And now you're stuck with 2 mana on Trump's side. By the way, these Living Roots are just going to pick apart the health totals, just in a very annoying fashion. So, kill off the Darnassus, play the 2 1-drops.
Yeah, this is where it can start coming back, but at the same time, the Shaman is almost out of cards, and he's done... actually, he's done 0 damage. Nothing. He's not even a dent in the Druid.
He'll get life tap though. That'll help get some access to cards. But how much life can you trade off before he's reasonably just gonna die? All right, here we go. Savage Roar. 11 damage, not quite enough to really put within threatening range.
I think I'd kill the 1/3.
Yeah, I don't see why not. You're still pretty far ahead. Ooh, here's a way to start racking up damage pretty quickly, though.
Not if it misses the juggle.
Oh,
Horrible if it misses the juggle.
Oh, wow. Man.
That's horrible.
Yeah. And now that Wolf Rider dies, basically just being like a 3-mana rock fighter to the face.
The Rock Rider's better than that, I believe.
Oh yeah, you can life tap there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not bad. Lets you squeeze it in. And Lava Shock. Oh!
That's good. That completes the Lava Shock there.
Yeah.
You have to do it. You're so low on HP already. And I would like to mention that I believe the Druid will be at 30 HP at the end of this turn. The heal and hero power. Still 0.
Well, you drew Keeper the Grove, but that doesn't answer the board quite yet. He's just gonna Keeper the Face. More mana efficient play. I like it. He can also use the Farseer later on, either to heal his Ancient of War or heal his own face. A lot of flexibility there.
I think the main idea is to make this play in order to not lose what you play next turn. Take 4, kill the Keeper.
Die to Force of Nature the following turn.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Oh, he's gonna use the
compromise play. Yep. Well,
he's not
if you're
Force of Nature, but got some bad news.
He has enough damage to kill an Ancient of War. It's 3 off
right,
the minion, 3 from Lightning Bolt, and then 4 from the Doomhammer. That's actually good enough.
Yeah, that is playing the entire hand, and you get to reload another Totem Golem. I mean, he's hanging in there. If Druid just keeps drawing flanks like Innervate, Wild Growth, I mean, those things don't really do much. Just 1/1 tokens for Violet Teacher. I mean, it's still possible, Krip. Not likely, but it's possible.
No, I'm with you here. Oh, there we go. The bottom.
Pay attention.
But I mean, the Farseer definitely is also really painful because now you have to kill the minion on board.
Right, but the Innervate would have actually been pretty decent, right? Because you could hero power and get a 1/1.
You know, I mean, I think he's just gonna ignore the Violet Teacher, right, and just Lightning Bolt the 3/3, so then you can just hit face and go for it.
Mm-hmm.
That puts 7 damage up. That puts his opponent at 17.
Oh no, he's killing it. Killing the Violet Teacher.
Now, just like, oh, is it? Oh, you're right. Wow. Doesn't want even the Savage Word possibility of dying. Wild Growth does absolutely nothing. The Savage Word.
Oh.
Trump stays alive.
I think you do it. There's no taunts in this deck. You might as well do it now and then hope to Wild Growth into like 1 damage.
You can just hero power the face now, though, and do the same thing next turn.
Can you?
Right? If you hero power now, you still Savage or hero power the next turn and put him down on a 2-turn clock. But now there's this one opportunity. No. Is there Feral Spirits again?
That's true. I think there is. I think he's only played 1 Feral Spirits. I think if he taps into Feral Spirits, he is okay.
For now. I mean, there's a Wild Growth cycle to increase the Druid chances. Live tap of Champions! Aww.
Not quite.
I was, like, expecting some pretty, like, ridiculous
shenanigans.
Where live tap is just nuts.
Reddit highlight? Is that what you wanted?
Yeah. I was ready, man. I was ready to bust out the hype train, but it's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's like very unlikely that he comes back, and honestly, it feels kind of like you just got robbed if you lose from that position. That's Thijs.
All right. Well, Trump, he has to beat 2 decks. I think he's slightly unfavored in both matchups, but yeah, I think all he really needs is just a disgusting Tunnel Trog opener to beat either one of these.
Well, that's not the disgusting opener you want. That's
He has a
3 of the
mulligan,
heaviest
yeah,
cards in your deck.
I think going second can be advantageous in some situations with this Shaman deck.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. If you get Tunnel Trog into Coin Feral Spirits and Priest just passes, that's just probably the best art you can ask for. Or even just like Trog, Totem Golem, and then like coin something else like Argent Horse, right? Like that's a lot of pressure on the board.
Could be Tunnel Trog on 1, and then Totem Golem on 2. That's always fun.
Yep. That's also a possibility. Still looking for an opportunity for Shaman to get like a guaranteed good turn 1 play, because Coin Totem Golem really forces you to top deck a 1-drop if you don't have it. And your best 1-drop usually is like Leopard Gnome, because Finley still has application as later. It's like it doesn't really have application until you can hero power immediately.
All right, well, that Nefarian is going to be completely useless this game.
No, that's not true. Hey, come on. Wormrest Agent gets an activator.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sure.
If it's a 1/4 with no taunt, that card is just trash. But 2/4 taunt is really good.
Yeah. It's going to do 1 extra damage to the Totem Golem.
The Abusive Sergeant, though, is... That is brutal.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is so brutal.
Well, the 1 extra damage might matter because of Holy Nova a little bit later. There is the Tunnel Trog, but it's delayed 1 turn. Looks like Trump will have the option to do Tunnel Trog Lightning Bolt, overload himself for 1 on turn 4 with the Feral Spirit. Get the Tunnel Trog 4 attack.
It's not looking like 1 bad turn, Crib. It's looking like 2 bad turns.
Yeah.
Shaman's coming off of Overload, so that gives them flexibility to play Argent Horse Rider. Turn 4, you have the Tunnel Trog, Feral Spirits play. Ooh,
That's
also
not
Finley.
bad either. But I like the Horse Rider now. I think one of the redeeming factors for Priest is Cabal Shadow Priest, so I think Horse Rider is the only reason it's not always the better charger on 3 is because of the Cabal issues.
Yeah. It's definitely a good point. Okay, so Farseer is a pretty big draw, giving him some board presence.
Yeah, something. I don't think you'll get cleared out here.
This is one of the more resilient boards that you'll ever get as Shaman against Holy Nova.
Yeah, but I think you could have played a bit more defensively against it, but it's still way good enough here. Like, what does Holy Nova do? Holy Nova...
I wield the power.
Okay, it basically does nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why playing the Feral Spirits and that was like a really good move, because Holy Nova only removed 5 damage for 5 mana and didn't feel like a high enough impact. Now you can definitely Holy Nova the following turn. If you're the Shaman player, you know, now that you have Finley, I think you can actually play a little bit more board centric and not have to feel like you rush so much, because Finley would almost certainly gives you more longevity in your damage, whether you get Hunter hero power or life tap or even Druid hero power. Just, you know, Shaman hero power is just the worst against Priest. There's so many ways that Priest can manipulate it with AoE, Cabal Shadow Priest, etc. Plays Finley now. I like that. And if we pick the life tap, I would be pretty good with that. But Hunter is also really good too. Life tap it is. That's so big for Trump.
Yeah, that means the damage is going to keep on coming. It looks like Trump is probably going to be able to seal this game out here.
Right, because you don't have access to cards. Cabal Shadow Priest still has a pretty big impact on this board, though. Because he's going to be trading this in, and then you take the 2/3 taunt. It's still pretty significant. Because then he has to spend his turn life tapping, and he only can play the Argent Horse Rider because he has 5 mana. No, so
It's like
is
nothing,
it
though.
Holy Nova with the Cleric?
Yep, I believe so. I mean, that contests the whole board, so anytime you do that, you're pretty happy.
I like it. I kind of want to see if he has any more cards to bring him back, because without Light Bomb, You also miss like a lot of your ability to just clear a big board like that. 3, 6, 8. So about halfway through. Life tap is very good here. Wow, not a bad card at all. Totem Golem and Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, lets you Lightning Bolt and keep more of a board.
Yeah, with life tap, you can definitely just continue to play for some of these board positions here. Get more mileage out of your 2/1s and your 1/1s.
Yeah, the lower cost minions in Hearthstone are just so much more efficient per mana than the higher cost minions. You usually have to combo the higher cost minions or use them in very specific scenarios. I mean, right now, Trump is just playing a game where he's just out-carding big time.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's the really funny thing, too, is that just because Priest is never aggressive and nowhere threatening the combo to kill the game, to end the game, he can always just keep lowering his health even to like 10 with life taps, even as the game goes on. Thijs has the hero power here. Like that's just how bad of a spot he's in. 6, 8, 10, but not enough mana to use like whatever he life taps into.
But he should he life tap?
I think so. I think it's a missed card either way.
I'm kind of thinking maybe he should not life tap here.
Okay. You want to just get as much board presence as possible early on?
Yeah. Oh, that's not bad.
Do you want to keep that for Doomhammer?
Yeah, you definitely don't Rockbiter here. But I'm thinking, do you want to clear the Drake? I think you'd probably clear the Drake. That's kind of how Trump has been playing so far. I think both 2/1 minions are going to attack the Drake here.
Yeah, I don't like trading any other higher health minion like the 3/4. So that seems to be a pretty good course of action. The follow-up to this is like your
Nope.
Oh,
Smart.
face. Everything face. He's not afraid of Holy Nova #2. And that's pretty honestly a pretty good move too. Man, what do you do here if you're Thijs? You just have you have to Blackwing Corruptor. And then
even if he heals in Blackwing Corruptors, he's still dead.
Because of the 8 damage, exactly.
Yep. So I mean, he has to draw with as your drain something.
Agent.
I'm more in the ballpark of Mad Bomber or something. I don't know.
Mad Bomb, like somehow getting unstable goal magically from Naxxramas, even though it's not legal, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Dude, dragons in general have so much potential, but they're just not drawing the early game consistency they need. I mean, it's really clear how much they miss cards like Zombie Chow to have early game presence on turn 1. Like Priest passing that much, not having impact onto the board at all. Just a victim of every single expansion when Priest just dies very early to some of these aggro decks. That's gonna do it. So Trump is going to win 3-1 and advance to the final day as one of our finalists for here at the Curse Trials. Job well done, being the only guy to bring the Warlock deck. Pretty cool stuff, man.
Yep, and 2-0 with the Warlock deck, doing very well with his little bit of uniqueness, little bit of flavor. And, well, I wish Trump good luck on the final day. Thijs, of course, is not out because this was a winner's match. He will be playing, I believe it's Kibler, who has just now defeated Orange in the non-streamed losers round of the second group. But before we get into that, we will have the second winner's match coming right up for you guys. The second winner's match is going to be Forsen and Strifecrow. They're going to be the same situation, just as Trump is, and Thijs were here, where the winner advances to the final and the loser gets a final game at the end of the night.
All right, so we're going to take a break. Shout out to our sponsors here. Thank you so much to Geek Fuel as well as the Curse Network putting it on and helping Archon as well as us have a pretty fun tournament. So when we come back, we're going to have more action here at the Curse Trials. It's Forsen versus Strifecrow. Stay tuned.